Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how to make a Mexican quinoa bowl with cashew sour cream and a super simple, quick guacamole. So what we're going to need for this is the base, which is quinoa, infused with tamari, lemon, a little bit of agave, some apple cider vinegar too if you like. And then we're going to mix in some black beans, some corn, some cherry tomatoes, and some roasted sweet potato. We're topping it with guacamole. Like I said, it's super simple. It's a cheats guacamole, so it's just too simple, but it tastes amazing. And then we're topping it with some sour cream, but it's a cashew sour cream, so it's my dairy-free version. So to start, we're going to roast the sweet potatoes at an oven that's preheated at around 350, 190 degrees Celsius. So now we're going to peel the sweet potatoes and chop them into bite-sized cubes. You can use one large one or two kind of medium ones, and we're just going to peel them. And they can be in big cubes as well. Smaller ones if you want it to be quicker to roast. But if you kind of chop large chunks, it should just take about 40 minutes. So now I've chopped the sweet potatoes. Before I put them in the oven, I'm going to put a little bit of coconut oil and a bit of pink Himalayan salt on them to roast. I use coconut oil because at higher temperatures, it's much better for you than olive oil. And then I'm going to use some pink Himalayan salt, again for the same kind of reason. It's much more beneficial for you, and it has much more nutrients, and I think it just tastes much better too. I like to be pretty generous on the salt. And then you can be a little messy. This is what I do anyways, even though it makes your hands super greasy. I just kind of massage the salt and the oil in, just so it's really evenly coated, and it doesn't just fall to the bottom. Okay, so now these are going to go into the oven for around 35 minutes, or until they're really soft and caramelized on the outside. So next up, we're going to be making the cashew sour cream, which is my vegan alternative on a sour cream. It's not exactly the same, but it really, really works well on this dish and still has the same kind of consistency. So what I'm doing beforehand is I've soaked the cashews for around 2 hours, just in water to really soften them up so it's easier on the blender. But it's also way better for your digestion as well to soak them because they're pretty hard to digest in general nuts. You can also use boiling water as well if it's a last minute thing, but I really kind of suggest planning a bit ahead and soaking them. So next, I'm going to get them in the blender, drain the water a little bit because we only need around 1/4 cup of water. Depending on your blender as well, you can add more as you go. And now I'm going to blend. So now we've made the cashew sour cream, I'm going to put it to the side while I make the simple guacamole. So again, this is like a cheats guac. It's really just mashed avocado and lime and salt, but it's so much nicer to do that than spend a lot of time when it's just a bit of a garnish. So I'm going to see how many avocados I have. We've got nice and ripe, and I'm going to use 2 of those. And then I'm going to scoop this out into a bowl. So with avocados, the most important thing, because they're pretty expensive and they're not always ripe, it's kind of a hit or miss thing, is to make sure that when they are ripe, you get the best out of them. So you want to make sure that the part closest to the skin, so it's the darkest piece of avocado flesh, is the bit that you make sure you eat because it has the most nutrients, it's the best bit for you, so there's no point in having a little bit of the flesh if you don't have the whole thing. Okay, awesome. So now we're going to squeeze some lime in. Again, my favorite thing with lime to make sure to do, just because then you get way more out of it, is just to kind of crush it a little bit first. And then it's way less of a chore to try and squeeze. If you want extra tangy, you can use 2, but I'm going to use 1 for this one. So then I'm just going to mash it up with a fork. And as we go, at the end, I'm just going to add a lot of salt in. You can also use some chili flakes as well if you want it a little spicier. You can add in some chopped onions or some tomato. So it's just very simple, easy, and it's going to make a really lovely addition to the cashew sour cream. So next, we're going to make the quinoa. And this is the really exciting bit because this is the heart of the meal. I've already made some quinoa. I added 1 cup to 3 cups of water, and I let it boil for around 20 minutes. And so I'm going to chuck this into a bowl, and then I'm going to add all the different ingredients. Perfect. So I've already chopped some tomatoes, and we're going to add these in first. We're just basically going to mix in all the ingredients now, so it's really, really simple. So tomato. You can also add red pepper if you don't like tomatoes, but I like these ones. You can also roast them as well, but this is just the simplest way. Then we're gonna add some corn. Again, it's totally up to how much you want. I really like sweet corn. It's nice to add a little touch of sweetness in here. Some black beans, and then finally the sweet potato before we add it all in. So I'm gonna go get that from the oven. So we've got our roasted sweet potato. They've been in the oven for around 25 minutes now, and we're gonna add these in too. So now we've got all the ingredients in the bowl, we're gonna add the seasoning. So I've got lemon juice and apple cider vinegar, which really gives it a bit of tang. So I'm gonna add this in first. You can also add the lemon juice to the quinoa when it's cooking, but I think if you add it afterwards, it gives it a lot more flavour. And then because we've got a lot of sweet flavours going on, we've got the sweet potato, we've got the corn, we've got the lemon juice, I like to add something quite salty. So I've got tamari in here, and tamari is like a gluten-free soy sauce and brings all the flavours really nicely together. So I'm just gonna mix it all in until everything's perfectly coated. So now we've got all the 3 different components I'm gonna plate up. So just plating with the quinoa base first, and we've got all the delicious ingredients in here, and it's coated in the amazing marinade. And then I'm gonna top it with our super simple cheat guac. And lots of it. And then to finish it off and give it a little bit of creamy texture, I'm gonna add the cashew sour cream. So here we have it, the Mexican quinoa with the guac and sour cream. It's a super simple, easy weeknight meal, and I love it.